following program comes from executive producer Lilian Garcia. Every athlete is on this quest. Every performer dives in head first, battling real-life challenges and overcoming obstacles in an effort to make their dreams reality. Singer, songwriter, 15-year WWE host Lilian Garcia was the first woman to ever announce WrestleMania. And the first to launch her own podcast, which gives you an all-access pass to the human interest stories of elite athletes and extraordinary entertainers. Now, let's embark on another fascinating journey of chasing glory with your host, Lilian Garcia.
Welcome, guys, to Chasing Glory. If this is your first time to Chasing Glory, I really, truly want to welcome you. I'm glad that you finally found us. If this is your repeated time, then welcome back. As you know, we always have real, raw, and inspiring interviews here, and I'm just so excited about everything that's getting ready to take place in this show and everything that you guys are getting ready to hear. But first, I want to thank you for following me at Lilian Garcia on Instagram and Twitter, Lilian Garcia official fan page, and remind you guys that there is an official Chasing Glory podcast page on Instagram where it's all things Chasing Glory. And that is very simple. It's at Chasing Glory Podcast. So thank you for joining us in all of these places on social media. And like I said, we have so much heading your way. But first, I want to thank my last week's guest. Yes, the charismatic enigma, Jeff Hardy. Amazing interview, right? I told you guys. Like, we got in there deep. And, you know, I love the comments that you guys did post, and I read everything. Remember, I read everything. And that is that you were saying that he could have glazed over a lot of his life, a lot of his choices, but he let us in. He let us in because now he's using the platform that he has to help people out there to try not to go down the same path he did when he got very addicted to pain pills. So go back and listen to the episode if you haven't. I completely encourage it because you will get to know Jeff in a completely different way. All right, so before I talk about my guest today, I want to tell you guys some great news I'm so excited about. So I've always wanted to connect with you guys, and it's great that I get to connect on social media, and I write you guys back as much as I possibly can, but I always miss the interaction. That's the one thing I was like, man, if I could just see my guests, if I could just talk to them one-on-one, well, kind of found a platform for that to happen. So I set that up. I put some questions out there, as you guys, the ones that have been following me, you saw that I put some questions out there asking if you guys wanted this, if you wanted live Q&As, music sessions, just talking about fitness, talking about life, anything like that. And you said yes. So here's what's going to happen. October the 3rd. It's a Wednesday. So Wednesday, October the 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern. Mark that down because I am going live. I'm going to go live streaming. And what live streaming on this platform means, it's different than Facebook. It's different than Instagram because on those platforms, you can ask me questions and yeah, I'll see the questions, but they go by so quick. Sometimes it's hard to read the questions. And B, I never get to see you, right? On this platform, I'll get to see you. So you can join me. It is private. So therefore, there's just a limited number of spaces available. And you'll get to ask your questions there, whether it's just anything about the WWE Chasing Glory podcast, whether it's about my music, fitness, life in general. What would I do? I don't know. Just let's just have a chat. Anyway, yeah, it's that. And then you can get chosen to also be up, basically called up to the screen. And so that way you can have a personal live chat with me. So there you go. I'm going to get to see you. And the entire time, you guys are going to get to see me live the entire time. So again, Wednesday, October the 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern. And by the way, we are going to give away prizes to the best questions out there. So you can win some prizes and I'll let you know eventually what it is. And a lot of them are going to be a surprise because I want it to be. So the way this works is all you have to do is head over to liliangarcia.live. So remember that my name is spelled with one L in the middle. So Lilian Garcia.live, Live. LilianGarcia.live, you can reserve your spot now. Like I said, there's only going to be a limited number of spots available. So reserve your spot now, and that way you can go live with me on Wednesday, October the 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we are going to have a blast. I love it. I'm so excited about this because finally, I'll get to really interact with you guys. If you have any questions, make sure you send them to my Twitter, or you can send them to Instagram. Remember, Chasing Glory Podcast. You can direct message that Instagram there, and you can ask your questions there, and we will try to fill you in as much as possible. All right? So just remember that date. Okay. So guys, who is hotter right now in the WWE? On the female side, none other than Becky Lynch. And this is something that has so much momentum. She has created this. This is something that has taken the WWE by storm. And that is because of the feud between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. This is a side of Becky that we never expected to see. And I was very shocked when it happened. And so I really go in deep into this interview, finding out what her thought process is and why she has turned on her friend, what this title means to her, what this run means to her compared to her first time. Yeah, goes in deep. So I actually really like this feud. At first I was like, oh my God, best friends going against each other. What's going on? Becky's so nice. Yeah, you're going to hear about the so nice. There are things that I actually learned that really are helping me now. So I'm excited for you guys to hear this. So I know I've had her on my show before. You got to hear her story before, right? How she grew up, what she went through, the obstacles she conquered. But then, if you remember on that interview, she said 2017 was not the year of Becky Lynch, and she wanted to turn that around. And that's what she's been doing. So that's why I wanted to get her on here. Evolution is October the 28th. We're heading into that. And I definitely wanted to get her perspective going into that. And and just what is going on in Becky Lynch's mind. So guys, here we go. All brand new episode. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Becky Lynch's continued journey of chasing glory. A native of Limerick, Ireland, Rebecca Quinn would grow up being involved in horseback riding, swimming, and volleyball, and of course, watching pro wrestling with her brother, who was known in the wrestling world as Gonzo de Mondo. After being inspired by her brother, she would join a new wrestling school that was run by Finn Balor, and just 5 months later would make her pro wrestling debut. In the early part of her career, she would hone her craft in the United Kingdom wrestling scene before eventually traveling to North America, where she would wrestle for Canadian promotion Supergirls Wrestling, as well as wrestling for the top female promotion in the United States, Shimmer. Quinn ended up deciding that pro wrestling was not the right career path for her, and actually left wrestling and worked as a stewardess alongside her mother, as well as a few acting gigs, but would eventually come back to sports entertainment, where she would manage future WWE superstar Paige and her mother, Sweet Saraya. After a successful tryout in mid-2013, Quinn would sign a developmental deal with the WWE, where she would start wrestling for NXT as Becky Lynch. It is in NXT where Becky Lynch, alongside her 4 horsewomen, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte, would begin planting the seeds of the women's revolution with a series of matches against each other that would constantly steal the show. The women's revolution would continue as Becky, alongside Sasha and Charlotte, would make their main roster debut in July of 2015, and at WrestleMania 32 would make history by competing in a triple threat match for the newly created WWE Women's Championship, and would be at the forefront for women no longer being referred to as divas. Just 2 months after being the first female selected to Smackdown during the WWE Draft, she became the inaugural Smackdown Women's Champion, winning a 6-pack challenge. Becky would continue to be part of many firsts in the WWE, such as participating in the first ever Women's Money in the Bank match, the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match, and the first ever Women's Battle Royal match. The WWE Universe would see a new side of Becky after she attacked Charlotte after a match which led to their classic match at Hell in the Cell, where she became a 2-time Smackdown Women's Champion. This November, you can also see her in her movie role debut alongside Shawn Michaels and The Miz in the Marine franchise, The Marine 6 Close Quarters. This Irish lass kicker continues to show that she is straight fire in and out of the ring. It's about to get real, raw, and inspiring with Becky Lynch. All right, here we go. Somebody that I've actually had on before, and you are my first repeat. Becky Lynch, welcome to Chasing Glory.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, you know what I should say, and the Smackdown Women's Champion, welcome. Oh my God, how does that feel?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And I feel a lot more comfortable in the role this time around. You know, before, maybe there was a sense of apology to it. Yeah. You know, like, oh, sorry I'm the champ, guys. You know, maybe there was a sense of that. And now, I don't know. I'd never had one before, not in WWE.
But you work so hard for that, right?
I did work so hard for it. But it's all an internal game, isn't it, really, with everything. And it was very much an inside job of... And the crowd wanted me to be the champ at the time. When it was announced, they erupted calling my name. But there was always... and I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, you know. But maybe there was a sense of just me being overly nice in general. You know, just... Oh, am I stepping on anyone's toes? Is anyone offended? You know, I think that was the way that I used to be. I was just always such a people pleaser. And I don't know that as hard as I worked, I think I was always worried, you know, like, oh, do I deserve this? Am I good enough to hold this?
Wow.
And now, hell yeah, I am.
I love that. But you've triggered something that I'm so curious about, because you work so hard for it, then you get the title, and now you're apologizing. So it felt completely different than what you thought it was going to feel.
Yeah, but even I feel like so at that time, I don't know if you remember, but there was Survivor Series and I was the champ. They made Nikki Bella the team captain. Nikki's great and everything like that, but there was still that, like, oh, hey guys, I'm the champ, you know?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I should be the captain. And there was still that, here's the title, but, you know. And I think that was on me, because I think there was that doubt, and I think that could be sensed, you know? There was still that... me being too nice, me walking on eggshells, and I think you got to go in there, you got to own stuff, you know, you really do. You have to own it. You have to believe it, and then everybody else will believe it.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I fully did believe it, so that was on me.
Wow, that's powerful. That is so powerful, because going back and remembering your interview from when you were on here before, your incredible story of, you know, and you guys out there, if you haven't listened to it, you need to go back and listen to it so that you can really get a sense of who Becky Lynch is growing up in Ireland, the last kicker, what you've been through, some of the, the hardships, right? Your parents divorcing and then going through that, having your dad live with you again, all of that. And then I remember too, when you were talking about how you went to school and then you got called fat, and then that eventually led into a whole eating disorder, which is, it's crazy, understandable. Yeah. That's why I say crazy, but understandable. So where in the world is the insecurity then? Where did that growing up
did that come through that you were feeling that way in the ring?
I don't know, but like, I think, gosh, WWE has been, what a journey, because I came in very low confidence. And because I hadn't wrestled in 7 years. And I said this, I came in very humble, very, let me be a blank canvas and start from scratch. But I did that too much, to a fault almost, to where it was like, no, you were wrestling around the world and main eventing and stuff. You do know some things, Rebecca. Mm-hmm. But I got so in my head that I couldn't even do a schoolboy. Everything I would second guess myself. So, and I always say it, like, I don't think I'd be here if it wasn't for Dusty Rhodes, because he really saw something in me. And Cody said it about him, that he, at his funeral, I remember him standing up and saying, like, Dusty never liked the finished products, right? The people that would come in, they were already polished, they already had everything, they had the goods, they had the looks, they had the character, they had the persona, they had the in-ring ability. And Dusty found that very boring, because there was nothing to uncover there, but when he saw somebody with maybe either a little spark or a little bit of brokenness, and I think at the time I was particularly broken, that he could mend that and he could mold that. And I would come in with these outlandish characters and he would just take them, and as ridiculous as they were, and he would encourage you. And when you get that confidence and that reassurance that, you're fine, like what you're doing is good, then it gives you that it gives you that strength to carry on to different aspects. Right. And then maybe it carried on into the ring, and then and I just never stopped working. So but like it's doubt is in everybody's head, right?
Absolutely.
All the time.
Absolutely.
And I think it can be a great thing. I think it can be a very productive thing. It can also be a very destructive thing. So I think you have to harness that in a way so that you're always working. You're like, okay, and not beat yourself up over it too. Be like, oh, I don't know about that or whatever. You're like, yeah, but you're trying. Or yeah, you didn't do that as good, but next time you will. So it's always just a work in progress. And I think people often, they look at people on TV or whatever it is, and they go, oh, they have it all together, but there's always going to be a little bit of doubt there. Right now, I can confidently say there's less doubt than there ever has been, which is a really nice feeling.
Oh my God, and I can't wait to really dive into that. Do you think? Well, how many years was it when you got in NXT? How many years was it before you won?
Before I won the title,
yes,
it was so from when I started in NXT, so it was 3.5 years?
3.5 years,
yeah,
okay.
Less than 3.5 years.
So that's what I'm trying to understand now. You've got 3.5 years of now Dusty's been working with you. You had NXT, you've had time in WWE also, you've been on Raw, all that before you got drafted. So was it the fact that you were still part of the Four Horsewomen for a long time of that maybe you get lost because you're still part of Four, and so you're not an individual yet?
I don't know, because that was the other thing. I was on Smackdown, right? And I had left the other three.
Right.
They were all on Raw.
Yeah.
So I was on my own, and I wanted to make sure that Smackdown was the brand to watch. I wanted to make sure that the women's division was the division that people cared about most. And that was my whole thing. And maybe I wanted to work together with people too much to really make it a communal effort, that we were, yes, come on guys, we're gonna do this, we're gonna make it the thing, and you had like tremendous talents there, like Naomi and like Nikki, who's been there, and Natty and everything like that, who I respected, and I respected them and I loved them, and I wanted everybody to have it, I wanted everybody to be part of it. And so with that, there's and maybe it's a Catholic guilt thing, There's also that guilt, of like, oh, but I also want you to have it, right. Like, oh, don't think that I think that I'm better than you because I have just some weird stuff like that would go through my head,
So what happened in this transition?
Recently?
Yeah, because I even remember when you were on my show last time, you talked about how 2017 was not exactly the year of Becky Lynch, and how you were determined. You didn't know how exactly, but you were determined to turn things around.
Because I felt like I had done that, right? I'd really wanted everything to be a communal effort, and I'd tried to make people stars, right? I always do. And I always try to make sure that everybody that I get into the ring with looks like $1 million, and people really care about that. But then at some stage you start going, okay, how many people are doing that for me, right? And it's not their job. It's not their job. And it shouldn't be their job. They should be caring about themselves. So it started to be more like, okay, you've got to do this, you know, and not that it's a selfish thing, but you start caring more about yourself, and you start elevating yourself, and you'll bring everybody else up with you, you know, because everybody else has to start stepping up once you do, right? And you can't lower yourself to match anybody, you know, and not saying, or you can't lower yourself to get along, right? To be at a place where everybody's harmonious, so you feel like you've got to bring yourself back down. No, everybody's just got to keep coming up and keep rising up, and there's no tension there with anybody. But it's not a selfish thing, and I think that's the conclusion that I came to.
Yeah, that's great. What helped you get there?
Being down, being down, you know, and seeing other people doing it, seeing other people going out there and knowing like, oh no, I can do that. They're doing that. I can do that. I can do that 1,000,000 times better.
Seeing other women do it, so you know the guys.
Everybody.
Do you remember anybody that you go, oh my gosh?
Anybody coming back and just believing in themselves. Jinder was one that I saw who came back, believed in himself, worked on his mindset, worked on everything, and was a champ and ruling Smackdown for a long time. And you look at people like that and you go, yeah, good for you, man. Good for you. Take what you want. Take what you want. And don't apologize for it. And that was what I was doing. I wasn't taking what I wanted, and I was apologizing for it. Mm-hmm. I was apologizing for everything. And so it was like, oh no, you can't apologize for anything. If you want something, you got to go out, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. If they want it, they're going to step up and they're going to take it. And they're not going to apologize for it either.
Right.
At least I hope they're not. And then I'm going to step up even more. And then I'm going to take it back. You know? And it's just going to be this beautiful cycle where we all just keep elevating each other.
Wow. Okay, so 2016, the draft happens.
Yes.
I was there that night. I saw the face between you and Charlotte when you were split.
Yes.
And it was so sad.
Yeah.
I was so sad
for you
guys.
We were both crying.
I know.
Yeah.
I saw the intensity. I saw the tears, all of that, just so devastated. And then eventually you get back together because Charlotte then gets drafted to Smackdown, and you start riding together, and, you know, the tea, all of that starts happening. So now when the storyline comes that, you know, you guys are going to face each other, what happens?
I think it is a rivalry for the ages, right? Because it's something that people can so relate to. Right, and I think the reason that I think people, right, particularly right now, are getting behind me, and not that they're not getting behind Charlotte, they are. It's very much like a pick a side kind of thing. But Charlotte has been a natural from day one. You know, she's just natural. She's tall. She's beautiful. She's strong, she's athletic, and she achieves things, right? And then you have the underdog who's scraped and who hasn't necessarily been the most athletic or naturally talented or naturally gifted, but she's clawed the entire time. She's just clawed, and she hopes and she gets the scraps or whatever. And then one day she's just like, you know what? I've had enough of this. And she slaps the head off of that one. And she's like, I'm taking what I want. And I think it's a story that people can really look at and be interested in. And the thing is it was when she was gone, it was the Becky Lynch show, right?
Yeah.
Becky was on a roll. Then she comes back, and then it's all of a sudden. Then I've gone back to the back of the line. Right, I'm still in the title match, but I've kind of. It's not really all about me anymore. It's about her being in this match, and it's like stepping back and being like, well, no, I want that title. I want that title. I'm not going to apologize for it. Oh, now you've got the title. Well, no, that was meant to be mine. Bang! Right across the face. You know?
Right. Because at first it was a whole, well, first when we had these matches, the ladder match and there was another match, was it the Royal Rumble, where people actually, like, it looked like you, or the Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble, she was the champ, yeah.
Right, but when you got thrown off the top of the rope, people booed because they were so unhappy that you got thrown off. They wanted to see you win. Ladder match, same thing, you got up there and it was like right towards the end. And the fact that you didn't win, again, people were booing. Like, damn it. She's not getting a break here.
They wanted me to have my moment.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then you go into the match with Carmella and it looks like it's the two of you. And then, Charlotte comes back and boom, she's now instantly into the match.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can see in a way where the fans are like, oh my God, why is she not getting the opportunity? Right?
Yeah.
So I can see that. But how did it feel for you when you found out the news that no longer at the pay-per-view was it going to be you and Carmella? Now, Charlotte was being thrown into it.
So I mean, you always want, and that's the thing, you always want to have the singles match, because it's more of a highlight, right? On yourself, and you've got a higher opportunity of winning. It's only split two ways as opposed to 33%. So yeah, and that was something that was like, okay, great, it's gonna be me and Carmella, and then you get another person gets added, and of course there's gonna be disappointment because you've been working hard and you want that spotlight,
right? And
all of a sudden it's been maybe watered down as opposed to completely dimmed or turned off. Maybe it's been dimmed. The spotlight has been dimmed, right? And the chances of winning are going to be tougher, especially when you're consistently the underdog. And then it's questioning, why the heck are you the underdog? Why are you the underdog? You work harder than anybody in the gym. You're constantly doing your best in the ring. You go out there, you cut promos with your heart and soul, make people get behind them. How are you the underdog? Stop looking at yourself as the underdog. Take what's yours.
How did she react to knowing, did she ever know that you felt that way?
So, I would talk to Charlotte about this all the time, because she always had the opportunity, the opportunities that I wanted, she'd always have the magazine covers and the things that I wanted, and I would say that to her, be like, man, and I would always say, it's great that you have that, and I genuinely felt that, and I genuinely feel that, it's great, I want that too, of course, that's so understandable, right. That's what I left home for,
right,
I want those opportunities, right. I want all those opportunities too.
How would she react when you said that to her?
She agreed.
Yeah?
She knew it. Of course. She knows it.
So why has this become so personal now?
She knows it. Because it's a friendship, Because it's best friends that have traveled together constantly, that have been on the road together. And now you have this feud where it's... where both people are right? And that's the thing, and that's why it's personal, right? Because both people are right. And I think that's what's so interesting. Because you can't say that Becky's wrong and you can't say that Charlotte's wrong. Because Charlotte's looking at this, hey, this was a competition and I bettered you in the competition. But I'm saying, no, you could have given me the title shot afterwards. You could have, or sorry, I could have given you the title shot afterwards.
Right.
I could have won, and then you could have asked me for the title shot afterwards. So there's both arguments are right, and I think that's what makes it so personal.
Wow. Okay, so that leads me to a question that I'm really wondering about, because in the other interview that we did, you had said that your goal was to headline WrestleMania, and you really felt like it should be the 4 horsewomen. Do you still feel like it should be the 4 horsewomen?
Absolutely.
You still?
Absolutely. Okay. Yep. 100%.
So even after all of this with Charlotte?
Yeah, there's nobody I like slapping the head off more than Charlotte.
Yeah, but she would be with you, no? Is that what you mean when you...
Oh, no. When I said the 4 horsewomen, I mean all 4 of us against each other.
Ah.
Yeah.
See, I was envisioning you guys together against 4 others.
No. All 4 of us. Facing each other.
So who would you want to...
Me beating the bejesus out of all of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see. I like that. Okay. I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, after all of this, he's still...
I'll put Charlotte in her place some more. Yeah.
And you've talked about Evolution. First of all, how do you feel about Evolution? The first ever women's pay-per-view coming up. I mean, I didn't even see that coming. I really didn't.
I actually didn't either. I didn't at all. I think it'll be wonderful. I think it'll be even better now because we have the potential of me headlining it. So yeah, I said it as soon as it was announced. At the time I had the SummerSlam opportunity, which I didn't come up victorious, but I came up victorious at Hell in a Cell. So I said I want to walk in there as champion. I want a main event. And I want to walk out of there as champion, having stole the show. So that is very much the goal.
Okay, so now you know, though, that Ronda Rousey has come in, and she's come in hot.
Yeah, she's a natural.
I was going to say, how do you feel about the way she's come in, what she's done, you know, the impact she's making, and you know she's going to be wanting to headline Evolution.
Yeah, she's an absolute natural, right? She has picked this up like it's not a bother on her. I don't know that I've seen somebody come in and get it as quickly. Because she's only been wrestling a year or so in training and all that. Absolutely incredible. But nothing beats experience, right? Nothing beats experience. So that's my goal. My goal is to headline.
What separates you when you say experience? What do you mean?
I left home at 15 to do this. I've been working all around the world to do this. I have scraped and clawed and overcome the odds time and time again to do this. And to main event this.
But she's done UFC, so it's still competing.
Undeniable the brilliance that she's done and what she's achieved and what she's accomplished. Absolutely incredible. But it's not in this game. She did it in another field. Absolutely amazing. There wouldn't be women in the UFC if it wasn't for Ronda Rousey. She's incredible. That's amazing. She's not Becky Lynch.
She's not Becky
Lynch.
Do you ever want to face her?
Absolutely. And come Survivor Series, she's still holding that title and I'm still holding that title, I will. Yeah. And it'll be armbar versus armbar.
Oh my God.
And I'll show her which one's better.
Oh my God, that'd be so great. Oh man. I kind of like this, Becky. I have to say, I do see a new attitude in you. But I feel like it takes more than just, you just saw gender or something like that. Like, what helped you? Because something can pull you back to old habits, to old thinking.
Oh, it's just a constant work in progress.
Yeah.
And it's constantly believing and trying to get to that point where you believe in yourself. And that doesn't happen overnight. And you know, sometimes you gotta fake it to make it. And sometimes it's just a gradual thing. And you do you go out there and you work and you achieve something. And then you get a little bit more confidence. And then you achieve something else and you get a little bit more confidence. And you achieve something else and you get a little bit more confidence. And then eventually you start realizing, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. So headline WrestleMania is your big thing.
Absolutely.
Headline Evolution. That's
Absolutely.
your big thing. Let's talk about your movie.
Oh, yes. The Marine 6 comes out November 13th.
November 13th. So was this your first film?
This was my first film.
So tell me about the experience.
Oh, it was
I
brilliant.
remember you telling me. I do remember you saying that the hardest thing for you was to keep things small.
Oh, yes. Right. And so first of all, I got my degree in theater acting.
Right.
So that's already big. And then I've spent most of my life wrestling. So that's huge, right? You got to play to the seats in the back, you know? And
Yeah.
we're talking sometimes 100,000 people. So it's about bringing everything down, you know, your facial expressions and things like that. And, but finding a nice blend, because if you're not moving, then it's like, what's with the robot in the corner, you know?
Right.
So you've got to find that subtle movement, because that camera really will pick up on everything with the close-ups, and because even in WWE, I don't think we have the same kind of close-ups.
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's not. It's completely different.
And it's weird because it's still TV.
Yeah, but it's shot differently.
Yeah, and they're bringing it in, and you can still see your face, but yeah, it's not in the same way.
No, because it's the same thing as even sitcoms are shot differently. You don't get those real close-ups, but in movies, you get sometimes where it literally is just your face in that big screen, right? So just the movement of an eye or something will definitely make all the impact that it needs to make.
Yeah.
Did you watch the movie yet?
Not yet.
No?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Saw the trailer. I like the trailer.
Okay.
Yeah.
When do you get to watch it?
I don't know. Hopefully soon. I think they said that there was going to be a screening. I got to do VOs. So I got to see little snippets of it. And I like the way it's shot, because it was shot very quickly. It was all done in 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
3 weeks we finished the entire movie. That's a short time for a feature film, especially one with so much action in it. There's a fight scene. I don't want to give too much away.
Without giving it away.
Without giving it away, there is a fight scene with myself and Shawn Michaels. Which is a great sentence to be able to say.
Wow.
There's a fight scene with myself and Shawn Michaels that I think we filmed in half an hour.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, a whole fight scene.
So tell me about the choreography that goes into that. Like how long, because I see some of these fight scenes and I'm going, oh my God, how do they remember to go, you know?
Yes, well,
with the hands, all of that.
With that, of course, with wrestling, we're already well adapted and well adjusted.
But it's different because it's not, you do, or did you incorporate wrestling moves?
No, it's also, everything's again smaller. So even when you're deflecting a punch, for example, you deflect it in wrestling, it's bigger, right? Yeah. But you're doing it in a movie, and it's everything's tighter, everything's smaller. The punches are closer and tighter. Everything's just tighter and smaller. Everything's smaller. So that actually, the physicality, keeping everything smaller with the physicality, that was a whole rewiring thing with muscle memory.
Yeah, I bet, because you just want to go into instant to what you've been doing. So how long did it take you to train for that scene?
I think a couple of hours. Yeah. You know, like a few different hour segments, maybe. But yeah, then when it came to it, we only had half an hour. Normally you would have a lot longer. But just the way with the daylight and everything and the hours, we had to do it in half an hour.
So when they said you got a half an hour, were you like, oh my gosh?
Well, I was in there with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
So we got it done. I'll be interested to see how that looks.
Oh man, me too. And to be in a fight scene with Shawn.
Yeah. We had to cut it down, obviously. So we had a lot longer of a fight scene planned than what actually ended up coming out. But
still, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my God.
He's amazing, and he's an incredible actor.
Yeah.
Incredible. Of course, he's incredible. He's incredible at everything.
Of course he is.
Yeah, he was incredible.
So I know that you talked about how before too with the acting and how you really wanted to do more acting. Are you still feeling that way?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I love it. And now, especially going out there and being able to talk more, I've been getting more promo time, and I feel in my element.
You are doing great.
Love it.
Yeah, you are doing great.
Thank you.
I
love
can see
it.
a change in you too, even in the promos. I can see a confidence in you. I can see your timing. You're more real. there's just something that is really starting to click. And again, it's repetition, right? And getting the opportunity of doing it, but you're seizing it.
I'm having so much fun. I'm loving this. I'm just having so much fun.
All right, so how much is scripted? And how much is it really coming from the heart, what you guys are saying? And how much do you get to go, oh, no, maybe I don't want to say it like this. How about this?
I would say half and half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say half and half. Everything I think is based on fact. Mm-hmm. And or not completely, but for the most part, everything is said with truth behind it.
Mm-hmm. But you're getting to add your own flair to it, like, because I know, everybody.
Terrible choice of words.
What I'm saying is, everyone knows that you a lot of these things you get a script.
Yes.
For it.
Yeah.
But sometimes, some of the guys before have taken a look at that script and going, I'm not going to say this, but I'll say this. Have you been able to do that with yours?
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. Yes.
I think that's why it's working.
Yes. Everything's said in my own words. And it's all based on, the main thing is to make sure that Becky Lynch is real. Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
So whose idea was it to make Becky Lynch go after this, but more in a heel way, versus Becky Lynch, the babyface, is going after it?
That was creative. That was creative, and I can't say I'm mad at it. Yeah, it came from creative, and it came from the top down, and Vince wanted a different side of me. And to see different layers. And so we're peeling them like an onion.
It's so crazy because, of course, I know you, so we've been friends for a while now. And when you told me that it's going to be heel Becky, I'm like, what? I'm like, wait, how is this going to work? Because normally when someone's a heel, they're really like putting the crowd down. They're putting, it's like the quick little pops of boos and stuff like that from the crowd. But you've done it differently.
Well, we tried that. And the crowd were like, come on now, Becky.
Right.
We know that we were there with you the whole time. And I'm like, yeah, look, I'm going through some stuff right now. I'm trying to figure it out. Lads. And that was a thing. And I remember saying like, well, when Charlotte won, you all stood up and you cheered and you championed, didn't you? And I remember the crowd being like, yeah, we did. And I was like, yeah, come on now, lads, get it together. Yeah. And I feel like it's hard for me to say it's your fault. It's on you guys, because the whole time they've been cheering for me. They've supported me and they've put me in the position to win sometimes, and even when we talk about the first ever Smackdown Women's Champion, it was the crowd wanted me to be the champion, so they dictate a lot. So I think it just doesn't make sense that I would talk about how bad and how wrong they are, because they've obviously made their voices heard and supported me the whole time.
And at the end of the day, you've made it obvious that this is not about them.
So, and that's what it comes down. So now it's not about them. It's not about Charlotte. It's not about whatever. It's about me taking what I want.
Yeah, but I gotta say now, Vince is brilliant. Writing team's brilliant, because where I was like, what? I now love seeing all these layers of you. I'm like, this is freaking awesome. Just your looks alone, going into the ring, out of the ring, you exude this confidence now about you, that actually even I've gone, man, I gotta tap into that in me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's really...
What a compliment.
It's really resonating, because I feel the same way in that sometimes I've been so nice. And I'm not saying let's not encourage people to go out there and be like assholes. Okay?
No,
I'm not talking about that. But I'm just saying that I've sometimes been so nice too that I haven't necessarily gone after what I feel like I not deserve, because nobody really deserves everything. Things are earned.
Yeah, earned, absolutely.
Earned. But that I should be getting things that I've earned.
Yes.
And I think that that's the biggest thing with you that I'm learning is, Lil, you belong here, you know, and you've earned this. And this isn't about stepping on people's toes. This is about you elevating yourself. Where other people fall is not your problem and none of your business. That's up to them. You said it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and
100%.
And if they want to come up, they can come up and it elevates and whatever. So personally, I want to thank you.
I thank you. And then that's the thing. Like you said, nobody deserves anything, but you earn and then you deserve it, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you earn and then you deserve. So you work your
tail off.
Yeah,
wow.
Exactly.
All right, so movies, more movies, headlining, evolution. How about, like, where does a relationship fit into all of this?
We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, is that something that you want? Is that something that you have time for? Is that something that's important to you at this time?
I think relationships are always important, but you're always building relationships with people, you know? And I think especially in this business, I find it very helpful to keep people that are outside of wrestling and the industry close to me, because I feel like that gives you a bigger perspective on the world and on life, and it gives you also freedom, and I think helps your creativity, because you can then take things from different elements and different walks of life that you can bring into the ring, and it also gives you a nice little breakaway, so that when you come back, you're always refreshed.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so I always love to keep people around that are doing different things, so I can, just yeah.
No, that's
and
a
I've
great
gotten
point.
a great group of people around me at this stage, and you're one of them. And you know the circle that I hang around with, just a wonderful group of supportive human beings that are all very focused on moving forward and driving and bettering themselves and taking what they want.
And isn't it true what they said? You need to surround, if you want to get to a certain place, you need to surround yourself with people that are there or higher.
Yes.
People that will elevate you.
Yep.
Not people, if you're hanging around people that are not going anywhere, trust me, it's going to rub off and you're not going to go anywhere.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You have to keep yourself around people that are motivated and that are doing great things, and or that will be doing great things, and you support them. And
right.
But I also have those people that are way elevated, and I'm like, bring me up, brother.
Right. When you ended your past relationship and you were like, okay, here I am single again, what was the biggest lesson that you learned about you? Because it's never easy to end a relationship. It's never easy to go through all of that. But I also respect that when you find out, hey, it's not right for me.
Yeah.
And it's not suiting me anymore. I'm not, give it up. But
I think it's maybe trusting your intuition, and if things don't feel right, just to not always doubt it, and not always. And this translates back into wrestling, It's that you're not always trying to keep everybody happy. You got to do what's right for you. And you got to trust your instincts and trust your gut and go after what you personally want. And I think that's what I learned.
But you went through some tough times too, right? Like trying to find yourself.
Yeah, so many. And but it always came back to doubting myself, doubting like, oh, well, maybe, what if, but possibly, but what, and you got to stop all that, you have to trust that what you're thinking and what you're feeling is right.
Yeah.
And not in an obnoxious way, and you can't be a asshole about it, like you said. But, and you have to be self-aware, but also not doubt yourself and not, I think I can be overly self-correcting.
Yeah.
Overly. Yeah.
Still.
Working on it.
Yeah.
Working on it.
Where do you remember where like this whole thing started with the self-correcting? If you think back.
Gosh. Ooh, actually, yeah, it probably started with when I left wrestling. Oh. When I left wrestling, because I felt like I had done something so wrong.
When you left.
But yeah, by giving up something that I loved so much, that I was like, oh, I'm wrong. Let me correct this. So then I would always just, before that, I was maybe a little bit too arrogant, and I'd always think that I was right. You know, I was also a teenager, so you always think you're right when you're a teenager, anyway. I think it was then. I think I always remember from then having more doubt in myself than ever.
Because when you left, you became a flight attendant. Yep. You were also a fitness trainer. Yep. All during this time, and you were doing that in a way too to please your mom, because she was like, what the heck, go get a real job.
Yep. And have a plan.
Yeah. And then I remember you saying that she was so proud of you when you became a flight attendant.
Yes.
Yet you were not proud of yourself.
I hated it. And I remember the alarm clock going off at 3:00 in the morning. People like, they're trying to kill me. I don't want to do this. And feeling that, like, that trappedness, when is this going to end? How am I going to get out of this? Is this just going to be my life? And for my mom, that was a great life for her. She did it for 29 years and loved it. Yeah. She said that she could count on one hand the amount of bad days she did.
Wow.
But that was her, and that was her life, and that was what she wanted to do. That wasn't my life. So I was trying to live somebody else's life or somebody else's standard of life, which they were perfectly content with. But for me, I wanted to do something completely different. And I remember writing down in my diary, I just want to f*** up. Like, I want to have a colossal f*** up, because I was doing everything by the book. I was being so righteous and so like, I'm meant to go to work and I'm meant to do my job and I'm meant to have a perfectly ironed shirt and all those kind of things that I just wanted to make some mistakes so I could feel something that just felt a little bit more real and a little bit more authentic, that at least if I was doing something that I wanted to do and I would f*** up, that it would be real, It just felt like I was living a freaking just somebody else's life.
Wow, that is so powerful. And that sentence alone, you just wanted like to get in trouble?
Not even get in trouble, but at least make an authentic mistake. At least then I would be moving forward in my life. But to just be stagnant and doing all the things that you're supposed to do, the cookie cutter things, I think what I was trying to say to myself was that I wanted to take a risk. I wanted to go outside of the box. I wanted to live. I just wanted to do something that I wanted to do. And even if it goes wrong, and even if I make a balls of it, that at least I'd be living.
Yeah. Wow. So then you get the call to
eventually.
Eventually we went down. Y'all listen to the past episode so you guys can hear the entire road, how she got into the WWE. Because that was by chance, just real quick, with you were going to be a stunt woman for a movie. And then you said, oh my God, let me start getting wrestling again so that I could remember how to move around. And then that led to, hey, who was it that said, I can get you?
Joe Cabray.
There we go. Who said, I can get you an audition.
Yeah.
Or a tryout, or whatever it's called now.
Tryout, I think.
Yeah. So. For the WWE, and you're like, oh my God, I left this 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And here I go again. And you even had your tickets bought, your passport, all of that.
Great memory.
To go into your acting, to go into your acting classes.
In New York,
In New York.
And as soon as he said it, I was like, yep, that's what I meant to do. And it was like a feeling of being unblocked. It was so crazy. I'll never forget that because everything felt like, let me, push and push and push and push. And then it was like, as soon as he said, would you think about going for WWE try? Because I think you'd get it. I was like, yep. And it was like, boom, being pulled. Here's what we're meant to do. And even when I was struggling in NXT and I struggled a lot and I cried a lot, it was a struggle in a different way. And do you remember the My Sacrifice videos?
Yes.
How great were they?
Yes.
And then Stone Cold is there and he was like, whatever amount of sacrifice, I wouldn't give one of them back to you because I loved every one of them. And that would always go through my head. And it's like, okay, you're doing this with a sacrifice, but it's for a purpose. And you won't give any of them back to you because you loved every one of them. And at the time you don't, but you look back and you go, loved all of that because it made me who I am now.
It is crazy how that campaign hit so many other people. So many. Because I remember interviewing some others that they were saying, you remember the sacrifice video? I mean, I was at ringside during that time and I remember them coming on and tears streaming down my face, and I'm not even a wrestler. But just the whole, like, I know what you guys have sacrificed, right? And we all sacrifice something in our lives. Well, we hope to. And that's the whole big thing. So I think the biggest lesson you tell people is don't settle. Right?
Yeah.
If you have a dream in your heart, go for it.
Go for it.
No matter what mom and dad say.
No matter what mom and dad say, and no matter what the doubt in your head says. That's the biggest thing to overcome. That's the biggest thing. Because you can move away from mom and dad. You can't move away from yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You can't.
And a lot of us try to move sometimes. We think that by moving, I just have to move or whatever, life will be better over there. But somebody said it so well, where you go, everything follows you.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Wherever you go, there you are.
There you are.
Yeah.
That's it. Wherever you go, there you are. Well, girl, I'm really proud of you. I'm also proud that even though we talked about it, right? At the very beginning when they told you were going to do this turn and you were like, oh, can I pull this off? Oh, yeah. You're really finding yourself.
I'm having so much fun. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the hell out of this.
Yeah, it looks it. It looks it. I think it's great. And I can't wait to see where heel Becky continues to go.
Thank you.
Yeah. And my gosh. Yes. All right.
Thank you.
What else can I say? All right. And so we find you on social media?
Becky Lynch WWE. That's Instagram and Twitter.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Chasing Glory with Lilian Garcia.
Okay. So there you have it. You know, there's a lot of things that I picked up in this interview, but one of the biggest things that I picked up is what you guys heard me say. I myself sometimes have been a little too nice, where I believe that you can be nice. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that you have to be somebody that, is mean and all that just to get ahead. I don't believe in that. But I also believe you can't be a person that people can walk all over you. You have to stand up for yourself and you have to have the guts to really go after what you want. And that's what Becky's doing. Now, sometimes she's going a little further, but it's her character too. And I actually love her character. But I also love Charlotte Flair and what she's been doing. And she is so talented. So it's going to be awesome to continue to see this feud. And I just want to thank Becky Lynch for coming on here again and sharing the further story, right? The chase for glory continues. All right, as we wrap this up, guys, I would just want to remind you about that very, very, very exciting, live stream? Yeah. A live stream show that's going to happen Wednesday, October the 3rd at 7 p.m. with myself, where I'm going to be answering all your questions, whether it's about the WWE Chasing Glory podcast, music, fitness, life in general, you name it. I just want to see you on the screen. You could be called up and have a personal live chat with me. I'm going to be giving away prizes. There's going to be a lot going on, and all you have to do to reserve your spot, because remember, there's only a limited number of seats, or I should say limited number of spots available, because there's really no seats except for the seats in your house. But yeah, it's through the computer. All right. So just go to liliangarcia.live LILIANGARCIA.LIVE to reserve your spot now. And don't forget that if you have any questions, all you have to do is go to @ChasingGlory Podcast on Instagram, direct message that platform there, and we'll answer your questions. Or you can also hit me up on Twitter @Lilian Garcia. And you can always follow me @Lilian Garcia on Instagram. And Facebook is Lilian Garcia official fan page. Okay, I've given you all the places you can find me and all the places that you can ask questions about this Lilian Garcia live streaming. All right, guys. Until then, much peace, love, and passion. And remember to always be yourself and trust that it's enough. Love ya.
Thanks for joining us here on Chasing Glory from executive producer Lilian Garcia. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends. And be sure to subscribe at Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your favorite shows.